Some of the best things are done by complete accident. Hey, it's Kara. Welcome to Mate Italy. Have you ever seen those National Geographic pictures, not from books, but from the magazines? I don't know if the books would work or not, because it's an entirely different printing process as the magazines. I'll throw in some pictures here if I can find them. I don't have any. But you take Citrusol and a certain year, I don't know if it's the newer ones or the older ones, National Geographic magazine pictures, and you add this Citrusol, and it reactivates the ink, or it has a chemical reaction to the ink, and it just makes these beautiful, swirly, amazing designs on the page. So that Citrusol, sometimes it's hard to find, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's expensive, sometimes Amazon has a sale. It's been in my junk journal wish list for quite some time. I don't have any, so I've never tried it. I printed myself out I made a vision board, a digital vision board. Some people call them dream boards. I prefer to call them reality boards. Anyway, I did a digital one, and I printed a whole bunch of different ones so that I could put them in different places that I could see them. And I printed some little guys to, again, put them in different places. And one of them was in a place that it got wet all the time. Again, I don't have a laser printer. I have just a regular old-fashioned bubble printer, jet printer, whatever. I think bubble printers have gone away, but I have a jet printer, not a laser printer. And this was one of my little dream board things. And it got wet. And I think that is beautiful. Just as it is. It's a nice size. It'd be a great background. And it reminded me a lot of this kind of thing. And I thought, well, how can I incorporate this kind of thing? And what I was thinking was, we all have, those of us who use digital kits, I shouldn't say all of us have extra digital kits, but those of us who use digital kits, sometimes we print extra by accident. Sometimes we print it, but we wanted a smaller size, so we reprint it again. Often, and if we make digital kits, most of us print them out to make sure that everything is working properly before we put it up for sale on Etsy or on our website or on our Patreon. We print them sometimes several times to make sure everything looks right, so that when our patrons get them or people buy them on Etsy, they're getting something of good quality. And so we have extras. And if you have just a regular printer, this won't work with a laser printer, because remember, that's set, is waterproof. You can put wet glue on it, you can watercolor over it, and that ink isn't going to move. Regular old jet printers are not that way. So I got out some of my extra digital kits. This is one of my words to live by. I believe this was the June one. For some reason I had 3 or 4 of these. This is obviously the one I started cutting around. But all I did was spatter some water on it, and it came through on the other side. And I think that's pretty fun. That would make a great bit for collage. Some of my true crime trackers. I love how this turned out. This, I believe, I grabbed my red fun spray, which is just water and food coloring, and sprayed it with that. What does this look like? Normally it just looks like this. It's kind of a manila folder color background with some red grunge and some spatter, some brown spatter that makes it look vintagey. That's what this normally looks like that. But I got it wet, and then I thought, well, I wonder what it would happen if I got it wet with my fun sprays. And I think it's fantastic. Look at that. Look at those blossoms and blooms, and oh, I just think it's wonderful. both sides. I can use it as it is, or I can just tear out the parts that I like. I can use it as it is and cover up the parts that have text. But we use text in our stuff all the time, right? Here's this true crime file, excuse me, true crime tracker, the original one. There's now a vintage version. I may even have some of those in here. I'm not sure what I've experimented with and what I haven't. This is just wet with water. And I think it's so fun. And they're all different. Like, look how different. Oh, this one, I know why. Because I printed this on two sides. It was double. Both sides were printed. And this one was only printed on the one side. I got it wet. But look at the back now. Where before it was just plain white paper. I think that's awesome. Miscellaneous stuff that printed. This is your test sheet. I just had this laying down and maybe dried this, let that dry like that. And so now it's also sort of, they remind me of tie-dye or watercolor, obviously. This was a digikit that I used for my aunt's Christmas gift. This was pink and gray. And now it's kind of a vintage yellow and teal. And that's what the back looks like. Another true crime. This one I sprayed with coffee just to see how that would work. And I think it's pretty cool. This is a larger version of this. I'm not sure. Oh, I got it way too wet. That's what happened. I got it way, way, way too wet, and it just started breaking up in my hands. What I have decided, what I learned from this was wet it once, let it dry. If you want more movement and more yumminess like that, let it dry, then re-wet it versus getting it super wet because it just sort of broke apart on me. So you can use either side. You know, there's so much goodness going on there. This was a kit that I bought. I think it was from My Porch Prints, maybe. Peter Rabbit kit for one of the baby books I did. And I had this extra just half sheet lying around. I thought, well, let's see what it looks like when I hit this with water. I think this one was coffee dyed too. Not coffee dyed. Sprayed with coffee rather than just water. And this was an accidental print. Wet it down. Picture of a beastly. So cute. But look at how beautiful is that? You can't do that. You can't really replicate that. These are one of a kind. I must have printed one of my stamp digikits on real graph paper. Because when I wet this, it didn't really do much. It did a little bit. But I was expecting the graph lines to do because I thought it was my digikit graph paper. It wasn't. Or maybe it was. I don't know. But that ink did not move when I hit it with the coffee. But that ink did. This you've seen 1,000 times, but I got it wet by accident. This happened a long, long time ago, but it's a perfect addition to this now new collection. It got wet just being on my desk. I was throwing water around and I got kind of carried away, but I think it's awesome. And so now I don't have to do anything with that back page because it is nice and messy. I don't like plain white paper when there's stuff going on all around it. That way, nice. It's just so pretty. Open it up. More yumminess. They were stacked on top of each other, so they both got wet. Whoopsie. Here's one of the canaries I just did a few days ago with the postage and whatnot. I printed a lot of them out to make sure everything was working properly. So I had quite a few extra. So I wet him down. And isn't he just dreamy? He's just... I think it's wonderful. I'll be doing this a lot because I enjoy making digikits. I did not know that about myself until junk journaling. I've always been into graphic arts, so I don't know why I'm surprised, but making the digital kits, I just love doing it. And so I have a lot of these extras lying around. Here's one of watercolor that I did and printed and got wet, and it made sort of a ghost image on the back. I think that's kind of cool. Right? So I tried some other things. I made myself a shopping list, and of course it's sitting on the kitchen counter and it got wet, and just my ink on the page bled, and I thought, oh, I'll try that. So I got out my favorite ink dry pens, and I just scribbled, literally just scribbled in black and then purple. And the black really didn't move much at all. There are some spots that kind of bled, just a teeny bit. The purple went all over the place, which is pretty cool. That's the back. Okay, look at these. Look at that. Yummy. Once that dried and I saw that the black didn't move at all, I thought, well, maybe it's because it was so dry, because I put all the black on and then put all the purple on, and so the black had time to dry. So I redid the black. Once the paper was dry, I scribbled some more with black and wet it right away, and it still really didn't move much. So it did move a little. You can see here where it's kind of fuzzed out a little bit, but not much. Not much at all. And it must have been sitting next to the true crime ones, because it's got that orangey, reddish, peachy tint in there a little bit. And then I tried my acrylic markers, that Artex acrylic markers, water-based. I don't know what they are, but they didn't really do much at all. I did my little drawing, and then I hit it with water, and they didn't move at all. So then I hit it with alcohol, and they really didn't move at all. Got a little bit, a fade through or a bleed through. And that's about it. It didn't do much at all. So, but still, it's kind of fun. I like that bit. Not sure where that came from or why, because there's no blue around it. So I don't know where that came from. It's an anomaly. But I would tear that bit out and use it for sure. This I'll probably throw in the jelly plate printing pile and do some gel prints over it. It's not pretty at all. I don't like a thing about it, so I thought it'd be awesome. I love the colors. I thought it would go in my art journal, but nah, not yet anyway. So try that. If you have extra digital kits around and you don't have to use the whole page, these are bits and pieces. That one that started the whole thing, that's just a little. So just try a few. I think it's going to be addictive. I think, and so easy. I was standing at the kitchen counter, and I would put something down because it will go to your counter. So as it's drying, put down blank paper or a drop sheet or something so that you don't get your counter stained. But have some fun with this. I think it's big fun. And you'll have some different things to add to your collage or your clusters or your whatever it is you're decorating. You'll have something a little bit different than everybody in the free world has, right? Everybody's got the same stuff. Everybody's got Tim Holtz paper, Tim Holtz paper, Tim Holtz paper. Have some fun. Mini rant over. You have a lovely crafty day. Go love up your beastlies, and we will chat again very soon. Mate at the lake. Out for now.